Welcome everyone to the Fight to Unite podcast. I am Aaliyah Freeman. I am your host of the Fight to Unite podcast, and I got to share with you guys. Welcome to 2024. I am super excited to be here. It is going to be a great time this year. What have you guys been up to? I know that we skipped the month of January. I have literally taken January off from the podcast because I wanted to figure out exactly how this year was going to flow. I still don't know the fullness, the details of everything, but I definitely wanted to get some things in place and prepare for the year. Now, one thing I want to say is that I gathered is I've been hearing so much about how you guys have been enjoying the podcast. So, one thing that I decided to do is I'm going to be posting more videos this year. We're going to be definitely exercising this podcast muscle and making sure that we're going for a little bit more this year for the podcast. Okay, so today I'm excited to be here. One thing that I definitely want to talk about on today's podcast is I want to cover two things that have been uh, a top priority of focus for me in this year. The number one thing that has sat in my spirit so much um, as a influencer, and this not even just an influencer, but I would just say as a beauty industry leader, one thing I am so considering this year is community, 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 guys. I want to focus on community this year. And community is going to look it's going to look like so many different things this year. Um, One of my focus is going to be building a beauty industry community because there's so much stuff going on. And I just feel like we need to get in a space where we can just connect, we can collaborate, and also too that we can just know that we're not alone in some things that we're facing in this industry. So community is going to be one of my top focuses this year of building a community where we can actually make authentic connections. Okay. Um, in the midst of building community, that will be online as well as offline. We'll have some live events going on this year, as well as making sure that we are creating virtual experiences for those who are not locally here in Savannah, or maybe you can't travel to the areas that we're going to be having some things this year. So we want to make sure that there is an active, ongoing online community. So if you want to be a part of that, I want you to be sure that you click the link at the bottom of this podcast to make sure that you can subscribe and make sure that you can be a part of that community because I want to get to know you a little bit more, what it is that you are facing, dealing with, or what things I can gain from you as well. So let's create the space for that and grow together. I'm looking forward to seeing how that's going to actually bring for such just a great impact in this industry, right? Another reason why I wanted to create community is because I recognize in our industry, we're so focused. It's almost like we're always behind a chair or we're always actively working in our field. And not often do we get to go out and connect with other people in the industry. So this community is going to make it where you're going to feel like you can stay connected as well as do the things that you need to do. Now, also too, I want to say one of the top things, this is going to be the first podcast of the year where we got to talk about the bill that's trying to pass here in Georgia. I have been doing a lot of researching as well as I have been looking online, looking at a lot of responses, how this is going to impact our industry in not a good way, but also too, I found a lot of great things that can happen to bend what they're trying to have happen. Okay. And so today I just want to unpack that, and I've had a little mixed emotions about it, but at the same time, I'm looking at it in a way where we're living in a time where things have to change. I do understand that some changes are not going to be great changes for what it is that we may be trying to do, but then also too, change have to change and things have to change in order for us to see a change, okay? And so I want to share a little bit about um, a few perspectives that I've gathered from the bill actually passing. Now, if you don't know particularly what the bill is about, one thing I want to do is I want to pull that up and just kind to read over what the bill is for those who aren't aware, just so that you can know and understand what is trying to happen here. The bill is not completely passed here over in Georgia, but I believe that we have the power to collaborate and come together so that we can actually see a change in our community. Okay? So pretty much, this bill is pretty much saying that barber apprentice means an individual who practices barbering under constant direct supervision of a licensed master barber, and as well as they have the ability of shaving and trimming the beard, cutting or dressing the hair, also giving facial and scalp massages, scalp treatments, all of these things barbers have the ability to do as of now. And then they're saying that also too, beauticians were considered as cosmetologists, and we have the ability to shampoo, cut, and dress the hair. We also have the ability to give facial or scalp massages, and we have the ability to do facial and scalp treatments, um, as well as permanent waving, relaxing, straightening hair, all of these different performances on the hair. Okay. Esthetician, same thing. They go to school and they can get compensation. They're licensed for practices for cosmetic skincare, as well as aesthetic, massaging the face, the neck, trimming, tweezing, shaping, threading eyebrows, dyeing eyelashes or eyebrows, applying eyelash extension, waxing, threading, stimulating, cleansing, beautifying the face, neck on or legs, and also too and then also too, so all of these things are required to have a license for you to go to school and have a license. This is pretty much what has been happening for quite a while, right? And so what we're trying to do, well, not what we're, what they are trying to do, they are trying to pass a law. Oh, I can't skip over the nail tech. So nail techs are individuals who has a certification, a license as well for procedures, who trim, style, shape, decorates, apply sculpture. They also able to put on artificial extensions, um, and all of these different things. Okay, so this is the actual already in effect law. Okay, so now what they're trying to do, they're trying to eliminate the amount of hours that you go to school. I know for cosmetology, they're trying to decrease the hours from 1,500 credit hours to 300 credit hours. Okay. And then also, too, after they are deducting the hours, they are pretty much only covering a certain amount of things in the school. Now, what is that is going to do is it's going to bring a major it's going to get rid of a lot of schools. A lot of schools are going to go out of business if this bill comes to pass. Now, one thing I want to share before I share the final part about this bill is it made me reflect back on my personal time that I went to school. And when I went to beauty school, I went full time and it was an 11-month program. In the midst of being in an 11-month program, before I went to school, the main reason why I went to school is because I knew I needed certification. So my expectation was just let me go in here, get what I needed to get from school so I can get certified and I can work in a salon legally. That was the whole goal, motive, and everything. But I gotta tell you guys, I came out of school with so much more. I was already skilled in my craft, in my gift, in my cart. Like I knew how to style hair, but I was lacking the very most important thing, which was lacking the education behind the skill that I knew that I had. So I was doing things, but as I got the correction in school about the proper way of what needed to be done, how it needed to be done, how much heat should be on a hair, um, when applying chemicals, how it should be done, so that you're not damaging the scalp, so you're not damaging the hair. When I learned all these things, it brought a lot of correction to my life because what I recognized was I had talent, but I didn't know the education of hair care, how to care for the hair, how to care for the client, how to do all these things. Like how to get get the consultation, give effective consultations. All of these things played a huge part of why I had to go to school. And no matter how gifted a person is in their craft, in the skill that they, even if it's a God-given gift that God has given you, you still have to steward your gift. I want to even say that for people who are already in the industry and maybe you have not continued your education anytime like since you've been licensed, I encourage you to get in classes. Be sure you are stewarding your gift because it's more than just being talented. It's more than just being gifted. It's more than just flat ironing someone's hair, or it's more than just styling someone's hair or making it look pretty or making it look good. We have to make sure things are structured right. We have to make sure that things are well taken care of. And that comes with a little bit more education. Okay. And so the other thing that I gained from school was I gained hygiene and sanitation. Now, COVID exposed diseases. It exposed diseases. Not only did it expose the COVID 19 disease, but it also, ever since COVID have happened, I have seen an increase of lots of scalp diseases, um, psoriasis. Also, I've seen an increase of so many different things going on with the hair in the scalp. A lot of people have been losing hair due to COVID. The aftermath of COVID has definitely been a lot of people have lost hair. And so with that happening, you gotta go a little bit deeper because just styling a hair where the foundation has been damaged, it takes more than talent to know that. It takes a little bit more education to know that. And so with those things happening, when these infections and these diseases are rising, school is going to teach you that. Okay. Also, school is going to teach you professional development. how to be professional in the salon. How to be professional in a salon. How to be professional in the industry. How to deal with clients. How to handle clients. How to um how to manage clients. You learn so much stuff in school. Now, another thing that I want to tell you that's not in the book that will tell you that school taught you, although the process is a little lengthy. So some may think that it doesn't take 11 months to go to school or a year and a half if you're part time. But what I recognize is beauty school taught me patience. It's going to teach you patience. And here's why. Because as you continue to endure through the process of going through beauty school, you're going to recognize that the time that you have to continue to put in there, you're going to have to keep showing up in a place where you feel like you should be already done, right? That is teaching you patience. And why does it need to teach you patience? Because when you get in a salon and you start talking about building clientele, you're going to need that same patience to learn how to be still and to continue to show up, even if you have one client, even if you have no client. The reason being because clientele is not built overnight. Clientele is built through resilience and consistency. Being able to show up even when no one's there. The reason why you need to show up and you don't have a client is because you never know when someone needs a last minute service. And if that person walks in the door, or if that person calls the phone and they say they're 5 minutes away, are you ready? Are you prepared to take the service? Or do you have to get ready? Do you have to pretty much wait and say, oh, let's schedule you for another day because I'm not there? So knowing and understanding that beauty school teaches you all of those things because you have to continue to show up to beauty school knowing that this is going to happen, right? Knowing that, you feel like you probably got all your credit hours, but you have to put in all this time. Yes, keep showing up. It's going to teach you a few things that's going to prepare you for um I'm going to prepare you for the actual when you finish school, right? And then also too, one thing I want to talk about a few things I don't agree with. The few things that I don't agree with beauty school is I do not agree with the part that we have to do so many different services on the salon floor and we don't get paid. And the most you get is tip. Now that part I didn't get. Now one thing I recognized was at the time I had a clientele, and so I had to put boundaries around the space of making sure that none of my clients will come to the school because the school prices were very cheap. And because it was very cheap, you would have people come in and get lots of different things, and you get paid nothing for it. And so in the midst of that, because I loved what I did, it didn't bother me as much. But as the fact that I was actually on my own and I had bills to pay, it was a downfall because I was like, man, I'm putting all this time and all these hours and not making any money. So in today's time, that's not making as much sense as it could have back then because, you know, expenses were a lot, the cost of living was so much cheaper. But now that don't make any sense. That don't make enough sense for the cost of living of today. And we live in Savannah. So Savannah is number 9 on the map of the highest place to live. So we already know that is bills are adding up. And if I'm in school for 8 hours, when do I have time to even make money to pay for making a living? Okay. So those are a few things. Now, I do have a few solutions that I think would be great I think that it would be great for us to bend this bill a little bit. Let's talk about the ways of how we can bend the bill, how we can actually help this so that schools aren't taken away. I do not think that schools should be taken away because they played an effective life. It played effective, it was very effective to my journey of becoming who I am today. And if it was not for school, if it wasn't for those teachers, if it wasn't for my peers, if it wasn't for the experience, I would not be able to stand here today. I recognize the more and more and more as I look back, like I cannot discredit my experience in beauty school due to the fact that um I can't discredit that. And I feel like that's what the bill is doing here. The bill is actually trying to take away the value, the standard. This is why we need school. School sets the standard. This is why we need the license. It sets the standard. It weeds out who has the experience and who doesn't. One reason why we should not take away the license is because we already have issues. We already have issues in the salon. I cannot tell you how many people I consult, and I'm seeing so many scalp diseases. And I'm wondering, is the root and the cause of this happening because salons aren't shampooing hair? Stylists are not shampooing hair. We're creating deeper issues of hair loss where the people are running to false images of themselves. They have to create false images of themselves, meaning they're wearing wigs, they're doing permanent makeup, and all of these different things because we aren't taking care of the thing that God has given us. And what is it for a client to come into a salon and not get the foundation of hair care, of beauty care, skin care? What is it? Regardless if you offer a weave service, regardless if you offer a braid service, that client should be shampooed. And here's why a professional should be applying the foundation of sanitation, skincare, or scalp care. The reason why you should focus on the foundation is because it is the focus of growth. Like if you want to see better skin, you have to start taking care of that skin. You can't just start applying makeup. Did you make sure the foundation of that skin is clean? Is it moisturized? Is it toned? Did you make sure that you've cut the cuticles of those nails before you put on false acrylic? Like we can't focus on the outer beauty of beauty without focus on the inner, and that starts with scalp care. It starts with skin care. It starts with nail care. These things are taught in school. School is not there to teach you. I say this all the time. If you're going to school so you can learn how to do hair, that's not the place to do it. School is there to teach you the foundation of cosmetology so that you can pass state board. That's what it's there for. School did not teach me how to be how to do hair, but it should teach me the foundation of hair. Teach me the important things about hair, such as the different textures, the hair type, all of these things. Now, do I think that school should go deeper into all of the different textures? Yes, I do. I think that they should expand more on textured hair. I think that they should definitely expand more on nail care, skin care. Like they did not tap into those sections enough. And so if cutting down the hour, but expanding the lecture on the details of those things, if that is something that they can refocus and restructure into their module, I'm all for it. So let's not just talk about problems and not talk about solutions. What can we do? What can we do? What we can do what I am going to do, we're going to start a petition. And I want to be sure that we come together with fighting against this bill. Because if we have a lot of people coming to this industry that are not licensed, then what's going to happen is there's going to be more damages to the hair, skin, and nail. And then what's going to happen? Clients is going to be paying a lot more money trying to get fixed what was broken due to uneducated individuals. I would hate to see that because it's already happening. It's going to increase if this bill is not curved. So what is it that we can do? One thing that we can do is come together to fight against it. Second thing that we can do is making sure, I encourage educators to rise. I encourage the educators to rise. If you have the gift of education in the beauty industry and you've been sitting on your gift, you have not been putting out education, and you know that you know that you know that you know what you do. I encourage you to rise. I encourage you to take your position and stand, to put out the content that needs to be put out, to no longer be hiding and to be afraid. And I encourage you to rise. I encourage you to start. Reason being, because people is going to be looking for education. If they take this away, if they take school away, educators are going to be needed like never before. So if this is you listening to this video and you know that you have the heart of education of whatever service that you offer in the beauty industry, I want to encourage you to rise. Now, if you want to follow me with the rest of how we can go about with this petition, I just want to encourage you to subscribe because I'm not backing down. I am for education. I am for this industry and I am for the people. I am all about making sure that God's people is taken care of. And so it is necessary that this industry come together. It is necessary that we put an end to this foolishness. It is necessary that we provide what this industry needs. And I have a few things that I am definitely going to make sure that come forth and in place. So if you would like to know more about that, please subscribe. Please subscribe. I will share the fullness of that soon than ever. Sooner than ever. So this concludes today's podcast. You guys, I feel like this is going to be a great year, but I definitely know that this year is going to be worth the fight. It's going to be worth the fight. So be sure that you follow us at www.thefight2unitepodcast.com. And I look forward to sharing with you our next podcast on next week.